Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of BizTech Unboxed. I'm your host, Josh Lopresto, SVP of Sales Engineering at Telarus. And you can see we got a lovely guest here in the studio with us, Mr. Matt Fredrickson, Principal Solution Architect at Aryaka. Matt, welcome on, man.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be in the studio with you this time. Last time it was virtual.
Dude, it's like Christmas in here right now. We got some stuff to unbox. So in theme with the show, let's get ripping on this because the people are dying to know what we got in here. So Matt, walk us through, while we do this, walk us through a little bit about Aryaka, your role, and what we're going to get into today.
You bet. Matt Fredrickson, Principal Solution Architect. I'm the Security Overlay Specialist. As we've moved from a traditional SD-WAN, WAN optimization provider, and moved into the SASE security space, that's my job to help people understand and change that conversation and make it easy so that you don't get caught up in the bits and bytes of everything, and really understand things as a unified solution as a service where Aryaka provides that to make it simple instead of just slinging boxes and having fun that way.
There's a lot of stuff in here.
There is. It's a complete solution.
Hold that, will you?
Absolutely.
You look like you know what you're doing.
I may have done this before. But before we even ship these boxes out, part of what we do in that service is a detailed design review where we can work with the client, figure out what their actual needs are. Because SASE is a journey anyway, right? We know that. It can be something that you're ready to do and pull the plug on day one, or it's something that you need to work your way into and integrate with other equipment.
So all right, we've got a couple of appliances here. Spoiler alert, there's another one coming. We got what? This is the big XL. This is the rack mount. This is the bad mamma jamma. I mean, we got a lot of ports. We got a lot of buttons, but it does seem pretty self-explanatory to understand what these are. So walk us through what we got. I got some LAN, some WAN, some M's, some other stuff down here. Tell me what we got.
I mean, it's pretty basic as far as the interfaces go, because the function, this can sit as an edge device, but it can also sit in the LAN and do a simple routed mode where we're integrating with other existing firewalls or something. So the LAN, pretty self-explanatory. And we pre-configure that, so hopefully if you don't have technical resources on that branch site, somebody can just walk in and we can pre-build that cabling diagram for them and say, Mr. Assistant out at the branch, we're going to plug the red cable into WAN 1, or we're going to plug it into the first ISP interface in M1.
There we go.
And
WAN's in.
And now it phone's home because we've pre-configured it, and it's connected to my Aryaka. We've now got visibility to the box and everything else.
So WAN 1, a power cord, and you got dual power supplies in the back of this, right? So this is really made to sit in a heavy environment. So we've got redundancy in that, right? So talk us a little bit about that.
Yeah, this box already has a dual power supply. So we're a little bit double covered there. But a lot of our clients, especially the XL box, that's where you're probably going to see these in the data centers or key sites. Let's stack another identical box on top of that, sync those together so they actually act as one single box. And if all my WAN interfaces are plugged in on the electrical, we've got the SFP ports, but if they're electrical, that means if this box decides just completely stop working that day, the secondary box, we can even take the ISP connections and all the other connections from that.
Fail the wire.
And just fail the wire and pass it through.
Easy.
Right?
I love that. And people are going to want that in the big high availability environment, right? They're going to expect that. So I love that you've got your own proprietary equipment. You've built that. You've thought that. You control how this is all built out so you can design it the best way that you guys see fit.
Exactly. We don't white label anything. This is all of our intellectual property. The devices are manufactured under our supervision to our design spec. So it's purely just our own box.
Okay. So we've got what? We've got this is the 10K, right? This is the XL.
Yep.
All right. So we're getting all those features that we've got over there loaded in this thing if we want to use all those, correct?
Correct. Okay. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. By default, it hits about this point.
Okay. Now, we've got another one here. Let's load it up. But as you guys can see, I mean, it's that easy. We've got WAN ports if we want resiliency. We've got fiber over here. You've got dual power supply. Pretty easy to figure out of the box. And I think what you and I were talking about was, you know, you're going to have that pre-call, right, with everybody of what's the environment? Are we doing security? Are we not doing security? And
right.
it's I love the way that you guys have these labeled. It's really easy to understand. You and I, we've unboxed a lot of stuff, put a lot of things in data centers, and it's not always been easy, but you guys have clearly thought that through.
Yeah, and it's as a service. We put this as a wrapper. We're not trying to sell hardware. That's not our goal. So to provide that service, let's make it easy and take a lot of the lift of the detailed configuration and put that on Aryaka, or give you that co-management capability where you can go into the portal, and once it's plugged in, then start making those changes.
Beautiful. And you said, I forget how you phrased it earlier, but this is essentially a POP, I'm not going to take your words, but a POP in a box, right?
So it's our intellectual property, all of our software and everything else. What we've done with these boxes is we've taken our actual cloud POP, right? This is a shot of one of our POPs. We've taken all this same software and it's running on these boxes, right? So no longer do we have to go all the way to a POP to get the functionality. We can get it directly from the box on site or send it to the POP, whichever function's better, right? Your remote users, they're going to go to the POP. Some functions we may want to map to the POP, just depending on WAN acceleration, other capabilities that you're looking to enhance an application. But for security purposes, it's always better on the box, right?
Yeah, keep it
close
local,
to the
right?
user, and then you don't have to burn extra bandwidth or create.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this whole SASE story has all been about, right? How do we get better performance of whatever it is we're doing closer to the end customer? And I think you guys have taken that, Honey, I Shrunk the Kid at it, and dropped it right into this box. And, I mean, this too, I guess we should talk about. This is really more your average size customer's appliance. We got the biggie.
Right.
But tell us a little bit about who's buying this. What does this fit?
So that's a medium appliance. So that's going to go out to some branch sites or depending on the size of the customer, the organization. And we're going to size this based on the number of users at the site, the bandwidth capabilities and everything at the site, and design and decide which box goes where. And if we add a lot of security functionality, we may change that box sizing just to make sure that we can keep up with the demand. Again, we're not trying to sell the boxes. We're meeting the needs of that particular site.
Yeah, I love it. You got some good details here.
Yeah.
Good stuff coming. Walk us through here. What are we talking about? What's next?
So the real brains sit within the My Aryaka portal, right? This is where our unified single pass architecture, one pass architecture comes into play. What we've done is, instead of going out and acquiring a company and just trying to service chain all those different functionalities into multiple boxes and get them to work together or anything else, we've built a one pass architecture that now gives us the My Aryaka portal as a single point of visibility, control, and just the way that you actually perform and control your network.
Okay, so walk us through then. So I'm in the portal, I got logged in, this thing's phoned home. What do I start to see here?
So after it's phoned home, this is the security dashboard, right, for the entire organization. So we can see that we've got all the different sites plugged in. 24 sites are up and operational. I could go in and expand on that, but that's what you have to do later on when I do a demo for you or we get engaged deeper on. But this is just the home view, right? All the blocks that we're performing. Maybe we've got IPS, IDS, we've got next-gen firewall capabilities, and we've got other things. So now I can look at the total number of blocks that we've had in the organization and see where are they coming from. Are they in the interzone firewall? Are they routing? Is our average hit rate on IP destinations that users are browsing to, are they in the safe zone, or are they in the unknown zone, or are they bad IPs?
And I mean, look at the quantity. If you guys can see this, look at the quantity of what we're talking about. Right? We've got 24 sites. We've got 60 users. You've blocked 200,000 blocks. You're looking at 95 million IP addresses. Think about how much visibility and how much Aryaka sees and can apply that to these customers. And you can kind of see this on a per user basis, right? Who's our troubled folks? Is this a bigger problem we need to investigate? And gives you an idea, right?
Exactly. I mean, you can see that we've got some users here. We've rejected them based on their repeated URL reputation. And that URL reputation is gambling.
Gambling.
Right?
Be safe.
Gambling. Be safe. Right? So it really comes down to just kind of simplicity of giving that visual of it. And then what makes us really different, and this is where that unified SASE single pass architecture comes into play. This is my single pass. This is actually the data flow. This is the life of a packet through this service. So now we've got security, we've got SD-WAN, and then go on and add these different security engines into the flow. And you can choose that by zone, you can choose that by site, you can choose that by user. And even if you've got a user that VPN's in one day and they're in that hybrid work environment, they can come into the office, plug into this Aryaka network access point, and be behind here, and we're going to recognize them either through a captive portal or other integration, and be able to enforce exactly what we need to once.
If you've ever wondered what gets an engineer excited, this is it. As you turn up a lot of these boxes and these different softwares and applications and hardware, it's so hard historically to do some of these things, but the way that you guys have done this, just the natural logical flow, and to see what I'm blocking, like as an IT person, as a security person, I can see exactly how many blocks I have at each level, where these packets are going. You've made it so simple to see that. You've essentially given the power of 10 IT people, security people, into one person. So this is, I love this view. And if I'm a customer, I get excited. And I get very comfortable about how I'm going to be able to see what's going on in my environment here.
Exactly. You can see where different rules have been triggered, what engines, so you can go deeper in and inspect that. This is designed to be flexible, to either integrate with an enterprise organization who might have their own SecOps team and SIM and all these other things, or a small organization that hasn't matured to that level yet, or just wants to maintain some of that control in-house with their own IT staff without that specialized training.
Yeah. Love it, love it.
And then to those 14 policy engines, management becomes really easy, right? We're no longer pushing all these policies out to all the different devices, the different sites, and everything else. We're now creating things like URL reputation. You can have a global policy where all sites follow the same URL reputation, but it might be an engineering manufacturing organization where your engineers might need access to something that your production floor doesn't, or your production site doesn't. So you can pick and choose and say URL reputation, create a template for that. Everybody gets the same one, and then have a secondary one that tightens it up for, say, the manufacturing site, where they're supposed to be building widgets, not surfing the web and potentially going out to dangerous sites.
Yeah, I love it. I know this is our final slide, but there's a lot. You've made it very easy. Again, the key theme here is there's a lot of detail, and I love where you guys have gone from a product maturity perspective, where, okay, maybe we started out as SD-WAN, you knew us as this big global backbone, but you've expanded, you've integrated with Palos and all these other things, but now you've got a lot of this technology in this appliance. So I think what's important for partners to understand here is that there's so many ways to wedge in, right? Meet the customers where they are, pick up what you can now, and there's so much more here to pick up 6 months from now if maybe that security contract isn't quite out yet, right?
Exactly. And one thing I didn't mention, but both those boxes, we can even virtualize, say, Palo. Bring your own Palo virtual license, and we can even put that on a single chassis because maybe you haven't depreciated those assets yet, or maybe you're just not comfortable making that move yet. And so we'll integrate with that. But the most important piece is we didn't want to sacrifice the user experience when we added security. Security is important, but it's heavy, it's hungry, and it can disrupt. So make it simple. Let's just deliver on the promise of better performing applications in a secure way for all the organization.
Love it. Perfectly said. Well, I think that wraps us up, man. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, if anybody wants to bring Aryaka in, they're excited, they want to see more, where do they go?
Well, the first place is, of course, your wonderful SE staff. Super knowledgeable, always get with them. We're in contact with them frequently, so we know that engagement. But if not, absolutely reach out to me directly. I'm the overlay for the whole country for security. So I'm a great point of response to answer those questions. We've got channel managers throughout the regions that will point you to, and security and channel sales specialists that will help you go out to your customers and partner to make a successful win every time.
Love it. Okay, Matt Fredrickson, Principal Solution Architect from Aryaka. I'm your host, Josh Lopresto, SVP of Sales Engineering here at Telarus, and this has been another episode of BizTech Unboxed.